Oh, finding balance, finding our own vitality sometimes gets lost in the chaos of life. It sometimes gets lost because we're busy caring for others and meeting their needs instead of finding what we need. Although we do know, but do we serve ourselves? So, Diane and I are going to really dive deep into finding our balance within ourselves, finding the vitality so that we can shine again. Hello and welcome. This is Mindful Conversation Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Otterstein-Liehs. And with me today, I have Diana. Hello, Diana. I'm so thankful that you are here today and sharing in this such a vital, important conversation.
Hi, Tanya. It's so good to be here. I'm really looking forward to sharing what I can and hopefully inspiring some beautiful souls out there to take better care of themselves.
Love it. I love it. And Diana, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your story, what brought you here, and what brought you to what you do today to inspire souls out there.
Right. I'm myself a health coach right now, and I feel that, like with most coaches, our life journey brings us to where we are and where we find passion for helping other people. So my journey was no different to that. I struggled with my health in my 30s really quite badly. And it was due to the fact that I did not take care of myself, that I put everybody else's needs ahead of mine. And I suffered adrenal burnout, and with that, a whole host of other issues, whether it was hormones, gut, nutrients absorption, you name it, everything was just wrong with me. My immune system shut down, and I was very, very poorly to the point where I had to stop working. My body just could not take it anymore. And that journey, obviously, I met a lot of healers on my journey. I went through doctors, which didn't quite work for me, onto naturopaths, homeopaths, and any other paths you can imagine. And that really started my healing journey, but it also opened my eyes to an alternative, or I would say true ways of healing. And further down my track, I discovered precision health and epigenetics, and decided that more people need to know about it, because I found on my healing journey that there wasn't enough support, that people weren't focusing on the right things. People weren't realizing that a lot of, or bringing to my attention that a lot of my physical issues were actually of psychosomatic nature, that other healing needed to be done before the healing of the body happened. So yes, this is the sort of journey that brought me to where I am now, and definitely living a lot healthier, happier life.
Yeah. I love it how you mentioned that it's a journey that you need to learn about how do I need to heal myself from the inside. Some years ago, I had adrenal fatigue as well, and I had to drop everything, right? I had stopped taking clients, stopped teaching fitness classes, and I just shut down my business for 8 weeks. And only when I did that did I allow my body to heal. Because you're right, when we get in the busyness of everything, and even though we know we need to take care of ourselves, and we do, but when stress becomes so much, you literally drain yourself of everything. And you hit that adrenal fatigue, and it is not fun. So,
Yes.
you mentioned finding that balance, and it's so important, right? When we find our balance through beginning to take care of ourselves, we find balance through, you know, getting ourselves nutrients that we need. We find balance of just slowing down and hearing, what do I need today? Am I feeling unbalanced? What do I need to follow to be able to breathe again and find that energy and that vitality that you used to have? And, as part of a self-care routine, Diana, what helps you to create that healing that has happened through that balance. What kind of self-care do you do to allow you to continue to not hit adrenaline fatigue again?
Yes. So there are many things that one can do, and I think different things will suit different people. For me, it started off first with allowing myself to take the time for
Mhm.
me. So I don't, because every time I took a minute for myself, I felt guilt, I felt shame, I felt like I should be doing something. But it's that when I said, no, I need this time so I can do these things, it's reframing everything that happens in here, because we look oftentimes at things in such a, well, in a topsy-turvy way, really,
Yeah.
where we think we need to keep going. And only if we keep going in that fashion, we will achieve what we need to achieve. However, just that reframing that actually, when we slow down, it's when things happen. So it's just that daily reminder that when I start feeling overwhelmed, I take a step back rather than pushing through. I take a step back and I'll allow myself. I go take my shoes off and go around our garden barefoot. I go and pet the dog or the cat and just take a 5. It doesn't need to be a huge amount of time,
Exactly.
but just to bring yourself back to yourself.
Mm.
So those are my little tips and tricks. Or when I'm at the gym, I work part time as a personal trainer as well. So when I'm at the gym, I'll go and have a conversation for 5 minutes,
Mhm.
and I know that, and I can return back to myself feeling a little bit more refreshed, a little bit more calm, and I find it easier to deal with the tasks ahead.
Yeah, it's so true. I find, it works for me as well as, of course, being out in nature year round, because in Canada we have snow.
Oh,
But, even taking those 5 minutes and just, okay, wait, I'm just going to take a moment, focus on how I'm breathing. I'm going to take a moment to release that stress. I feel my shoulders going up, right? And you're right. It does not take long. It takes 30 seconds, 5 minutes just to walk away from what you're doing and just refocus on, look out a window or, read or if you have an animal, just hug them and stroke them. And they already know studies have shown animals have a natural calming effect for us. And I think it's
absolutely.
because, yeah, I really think a part of it is because when we're talking to our animals, we're greeting our animals, we're giving this undivided love and we're solely focused on them. I think that's something we can learn is when you're focused on something else that brings positivity, that brings warm feelings within you, we need to do that more and make it a part of our daily
Absolutely.
routines, right? Our daily
Yep.
habits. And do you believe also, Diana, when you give yourself permission to choose to give what you need at that very moment, that's when this aha moment comes within you and you're like, wow, I need to do this more often.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just, yeah, taking that focus away. And I think when you are with that animal, or when you're connecting with nature, when you give it, or when you connect with your own breath, you're brought to the moment. Because
Yeah.
when we start getting overwhelmed, it's usually because we're in the future. We're
Yeah.
hurrying to get somewhere. We're trying to achieve something, or we're worried about something, or we're looking too often into the past and we're trying to somehow fix things. So
Yeah.
when we bring ourselves to that present moment, everything else just the space, and you can just really enjoy what's going on there, and from that point it's so much easier to carry on.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And before we go on, I just remembered I forgot to ask you, where in the
Yes.
world are you coming from today, Diana?
So I live in the beautiful New Zealand, and we have now pre-summer weather, which I'm really excited about. But I'm originally from Slovakia, so I've traveled a little bit, and I spent 10 years living in the UK and now 12 years in New Zealand.
Lovely. Yeah, so you're opposite of Canada. You're going into summer, we're going into winter.
Yep,
I always ask my guests where they're from, like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask Diana.
no problem.
Oh, so of course you have beautiful weather year round, I'll say. And I see the sun is shining. So what helps motivate you every morning to get up? Because let's be honest, There's days we wake up and, people think, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. I'm not looking forward to the day. I just want to lie here more. And of course, that shifts and changes as we have more gratitude, as we practice gratitude, as give yourself permission to feel what you do, as you give yourself permission to always have positive thoughts at the end of the day, no matter what. But for people that are struggling out there that have not shifted and got into that mindset of, I love who I am, what's something you can say to them? Okay, this is what I do that motivates me every morning to get up. And, here's an idea that perhaps you can try to help you get up every morning.
Absolutely. So I'd like to actually share that when I went through my health struggles, my physical state became so bad that my mental state became worse. And there were points in my life that every night I went to bed, I was hoping that I wasn't going to wake up because I just couldn't face another day.
Yeah.
It was that hard, and I couldn't quite understand it because I thought, well, I have a beautiful husband, I have a gorgeous new baby. Why do I want to give up? But I really just did. I was so tired. I was so beside myself, and I didn't see a way out.
Hmm.
Um, but it was talking to my husband who said, where are your values? What do you really love and want the most in this life? And him being so supportive and giving me that space, he led me to realize what really actually matters. And that's what helped me to then start the healing journey. So, for anyone out there at the moment who is feeling really, really down and are struggling with their everyday life, it is really to look at what you value, what you love, and what happened if you continue carrying on in this way. Would the people that you love be in your life if you keep carrying on in this way? I know that I would lose my husband over time because there was only so much pain he could take. And with him, I would probably lose my children. And all these things were very, very dear. All these people were very dear to me. The life that I had was actually very dear to me. And that's where I said, well, no, I cannot carry on like this. I have to do something, and nothing will change unless I change. So even though it's really hard to see at times that we are the catalyst for change because we feel that everything around us is happening to us, it's really important to know that every change and every little bit of progress starts with you. So try and find that strength within yourself to go and read a book, go and talk to someone, because that's the only way forward.
Yeah. So, what I'm hearing is what motivates you to get up every day is the values of what you have in your life, right?
Yeah, the love,
And
the family, the people,
yeah,
yes, the
and
joy they bring me.
exactly. And like simple things, right? Like the sun is shining, that's values, right? Or to be able to move, those are values that often we don't see as things to be grateful for, often we don't see as values. However, they are, and write them down, because I'm a strong believer when you write things down, it goes not only through your eyes, but also through your heart, right? It's that whole momentum, that whole flow that your body's in with that, with the gratitude as well. And when you start to make that become, again, a daily habit, it starts to make your own, how do I say this, your own feelings stronger for loving what you're surrounded by, loving who you are, loving the people that are in your life. And
Yep,
yeah, and Diana, I'd love to know if you're comfortable with this. We all have challenges in life, right? No matter what, we all have challenges. And is there a challenge right now that you're open to sharing in your life, and what that challenge is and what's helping you move through it or get beyond that roadblock, and to see that there is good beyond that challenge?
Yes, yeah, absolutely happy to share. I am actually at the moment going through a rather difficult and complicated time because I have had to leave a business that I was subcontracting to, which has put me on quite a bit of a back foot because of the circumstances around it. And it became very uncomfortable, very confrontational, stressful, and and those are situations I'm not necessarily a person that is comfortable with confrontation. I am not a person that is comfortable or very good at putting my foot down and again putting my needs first. As most humans, we always, and at least I think of other people and how it will impact them first before I consider what's going on. So I have to, it's a habit having to bring yourself back to you, your truth, your values, and your moments. And um and realizing that, I'm not the bad guy in this situation, and that I am having to do what I need to do for me. Because
Yeah.
if I don't do this for me, that's going to affect all the people around me as well. So there were days where I was really upset and felt, oh, why is this happening? And why is it happening to me? Where again, through training, I went, hang on, no, this is happening for me. This is unfolding for me. And I find that in every situation, and that's through experiences in my life and through experiences of people that I've worked with over time, is that every challenge, every hurdle that we need to overcome will bring something positive with it,
Definitely.
whether it's the learning of a lesson that we need to have, whether it's path that will take us to our goals in a different way, but much more aligned with who we are.
Mm.
So this was just a daily reminder for myself that this is unfolding for me, and there is a path somewhere there for me that is going to be much more aligned. Because one of those things that I felt subcontracting in this business was that their values and where they were really going wasn't in complete alignment with mine.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it comes down to learning to say no and being okay with it, right?
yeah,
I mean, I've had to away from things too because, okay, it's like, no, I'm walking away from this because it is not, like you mentioned, in line with my thoughts and my values, you know, and saying no to other things as well. It's something that a lot of people struggle with is saying no. But if it doesn't align with you, if it doesn't feel right, if you're going to feel overstressed doing it, if you know it's not going to be the outcome you want, then feel comfortable to say no. Because, like you said, in the end, there's something else waiting that's bigger and better. And, I always say, if you say yes to something you don't want to, how are you going to feel being in that situation? You're not going to look forward to it every day. You're going to regret it. You can have this negative mindset and all these things that are not healthy for you overall because it's going to affect you physically. It's going to affect you overall health wise as well. You can go on that throughout the day and regretting, like, why did I do this? Why did I this? Or you can say, no, I'm not going to have this in my life. And, similar to your situation. And in the end, I'm going to feel better every morning because I'm not stressed now. I'm not having these negative thoughts anymore. So, I always say too, sometimes you need to write it down and see, okay, what are my values? What are the values of this? Okay, it's not aligned right there. Right there. That is a big no. And what is
yeah,
it going to cause in the end? Right? What is it going to cause
that's
in the end?
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And, going with that, Diana, we talked about being out in nature. We talked about, having gratitude. We talked about nourishing your soul and mind. And you believe strongly, Diana, that when you nourish your soul and your mind, that you become a stronger person within yourself and that you start to believe and acknowledge that you are an amazing person and you believe and you acknowledge that not everybody needs to like me.
Yes. And again, be okay with it. once we invest in our own expansion, once we invest in um, our well-being, whether it's internal or external, they all go hand in hand regardless. We will learn to love ourselves and appreciate ourselves. And out of that self-love, so many things unfold because then you are much more comfortable to say no, or then you're much more comfortable with your own ideas, with your own thoughts, with your own feelings. But also, you are much more open to be compassionate and understanding and being okay with the differences in other people as well.
Hmm.
So your own expansion and growth will help everything and everyone around you as well. So it's one of those things that we must do, especially if we are the ones, and women love to serve, women love to give. But for you to actually serve and give wholeheartedly and wholly on the level that you really want, you must start with you. It
So true.
all starts with you.
So true. I always say if you give yourself all the way, you'll have nothing left for yourself. And then, we tend to wonder, why am I exhausted? Why am I not looking forward to the days? Why do I seem to have no more energy? Why does nothing make me smile anymore? Why, do I not do things anymore that I used to love doing? Well, that's why you've
Yeah.
given everything away and you've forgotten your own passion that's inside, or you've weighed it down with whatever it is in your world. It's
Yes.
yeah, we need to, I think, re-examine our own selves, right? We need to give ourselves
Absolutely.
permission to open up to our own feelings and not deny how we're feeling, and gives
Yes.
ourselves permission to choose to find that happiness within ourselves again, because we know one point of life, way back when, we had joy, we had happiness, we had balance, we had vitality, but then something along the line, something along life, something around journey took that all away. And again, I really feel it's because we as women, we are naturally the nurturer, the carer, the organizer, the one that wants to make everything look good, the one that wants to make everybody happy. But then in the end, are we happy? Right? Eh,
Absolutely
yeah.
not.
And
People
maybe,
pleasing never brings
yeah,
full, proper
exactly.
joy.
And sometimes we trick ourselves saying, but I am happy because, my family's happy and they're being provided for and we have a roof over our head. Yes, but look inside yourself. Have you lost that fire? Have you lost that joy? Like, we need to take care of our own selves and our own vitality. We need to live who we are to be able to fully enjoy everything around us.
Yeah. And it starts with self-care. There's this lovely quote. I honestly can't remember by whom, but I not long ago posted it, and it was along the lines, self-care is giving the world best of you rather than what's left of you. And that really, really resonated with me.
I love that. I love that because that is a question I was going to ask you about, if there's a quote that you absolutely love. It's always something I like to find out from my guests, but you've answered it right there. And I think that, that quote is really full of a lot of depth to it. When you really sit down with it, it could mean so many things, right? So many things. So I love that. I always love when my guests bring a quote I've not heard before. So
Yes,
thank you,
no,
Diane. And to find out a little bit about yourself, a little bit more, because we've heard beautiful wisdom, about how you need to take care of yourself. You recognize the journey, recognize when you're starting to feel empty and burned out, and recognize when you need to take a moment to simply breathe, which we need to do every day, to recognize what brings you joy, to recognize and give yourself permission to take care of yourself in a way that works for you. So I love all that insight, all those messages you shared today, Diana. And, if there's anything else, some piece of advice that's come to mind right now, I'd love for you to share it with our listeners and our audience today, Diana.
What would I like to share? I think what helped me on my journey was realizing that I did not have to do it all on my own.
Hmm.
And I think that's an important realization, because we sometimes, when we caught up in our everyday pain and struggle, we really can't see properly and clearly the way out. So I find that it's so important to love yourself enough, at least, to start investing in your journey to happier, more fulfilling life. But as I said, it's very, very difficult to do it on your own when you are doing it from this limited state that you are in. So find yourself someone that you resonate with to get better, to because there is so much joy to be had in life, and you deserve to feel really good in your body, in your mind, in your skin. But that mind thing is so, so important, because funny enough, I deal with epigenetics, and epigenetics are basically how our genes are responding to our environment. But when we think about environment, people think the outside environment. They forget that our thoughts create internal environment, because our thoughts trigger our feelings trigger hormonal responses. Now, if that internal environment isn't healthy, doesn't matter what you do with your external environment, it's not going to work. So find someone who can help you heal, whichever way needs, and you will see again the beautiful world for what it is, and find joy and vitality in life.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes we need someone else, even someone that we don't know, to help us release all that deep-seated negative energy, right? Because you mentioned it, sometimes we don't even realize this deep negative energy, and it could be there for years and years and years, but how it truly affects us in every way, even how we look at things, right? We need to be able to release that in a way that allows things to shift in our body and our mind, right? So it's I always say, Diana, it's the baby steps that really, really, really make a difference every day, right? Because we can't all of a sudden change 180 overnight. It's taking little baby steps every day that are going to allow the shift to happen. So, Diana, without family being one of your answers, if this was the last day of your life, what is one thing that you would be grateful for?
Right. Well, that's tricky, because the family always
Yeah,
springs in mind, and I am
we're women,
incredibly,
we're moms, right?
yes, incredibly grateful for them, because they are the reasons why I get out of bed and why I do what I do. However, if there's another thing that I am extremely grateful for, is probably all the hurdles I had to get through, because they made me more resilient. They made me see that I am strong, that I am a good person, and helped me to. They basically led me to the life that I have now, where I get to support other people on their journeys. So I am really grateful for every single little hurdle or big one.
Yeah, it's true, right? They do
Okay,
make us stronger because sometimes we don't believe that we're as strong as we are. So I love that.
absolutely.
I'm going to throw the last question out there, Diana.
Okay.
So, if Diana did not exist today, why would the world need to create you?
Oh, that's a very deep question. And this one goes, I think, a little bit into the self-love, and allowing yourself uh, to actually admit that you are great. So why would the world need to create me?
Yeah.
I find that over the years, as a young person that I've always been a very good and supportive friend. And perhaps that's why the journey led me to where I am now in terms of my career as well. And I have helped a lot of people when it came to even things like suicide. So I feel that there is a need in this world for people that are willing to give their time without asking for anything back, that are willing to give their love to people. I find that I am very loving and caring, and and that I want the best outcomes for everyone, and that gives me a lot of drive and passion to keep going forward and keep helping people and keep sharing the knowledge that I have and the wisdom. So if I weren't here, there'll be one less person, and I don't think there is enough of us. We need more people like
Yeah.
us.
So what I'm hearing, the world, we need to create you, Diana, so that there is a hand there to hold, to support those in need, to allow guidance and a listening ear, to allow a hand to be there for someone else, and let them know that you care and they are worthy and that we need more of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't have too much love.
Cannot have too much love or kindness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Diana, thank you so much for this conversation and sharing these beautiful messages. I feel too that we can't hear enough of it. We need to create sending out love, sending out just kindness to the whole world, and allow more women and people overall to realize that they are special, they are loved, and to definitely love themselves and to allow balance to happen within themselves and within their life. So thank you.
100%.
So thank you to all of you as well for tuning in to another mindful conversation. And remember, when you go to bed this evening, to think about the best thing that happened. And as you wake up tomorrow, either write it down or send it out to the universe, what you are grateful for. And Diana, you wanted to add something there?
I just wanted to say thank you for having me on this podcast, and thank you for putting this podcast out there, because I feel that it has the potential to touch so many lives. And I think it's wonderful there are people like you that took it upon themselves to share the message far and wide, because again, we need it.
Thank you very much for those kind words. I love it. Thank you. So until next time, this is Tanya, Otterstein-Liehs, mindful coach, saying, have a beautiful day and love who you are.